Hey guys, I'm going to show you how I made this image using Stable Diffusion to create a depth map of an image and then use that as a displacement map to create geometry. So let's get to it. So the first thing you need to do is install Stable Diffusion if you don't already have it. If you don't already have it, then there's this guy on YouTube that has a super easy to follow tutorial. I'm going to link that down below in the description. That's actually how I learned how to install it. The install process takes maybe like 15-20 minutes. But once you do that, you're pretty much good to go. Okay, once you have Stable Diffusion open, you're going to see a bunch of things. You should be in the text to image tab when it fires up. And then at the top left, you'll see it says Stable Diffusion checkpoint, and that's kind of the model that you have installed. But we don't want to use that. We actually want to go to the depth tab. And the way to install that is you essentially go to extensions and then go to install from URL. And then you just paste in the URL to the model that you're going to install. Once you install your depth model, you might want to restart your browser just to refresh it, but there should be a depth tab that shows up. And then once you click that, this is what you're going to see. So this is super simple. I know it looks like a lot, but it's actually not. So the way it works is you have your single image here, and then you just drag in your image. Now what's super cool about this is you can pretty much feed the model any image that you want. It doesn't have to be like a bas-relief type related image. It's going to try and generate depth out of anything that you give it. Anything that has any light or depth information already in it. So like if you were to take a photo of, I don't know, like the ground and you have like stones and pebbles and stuff, it's still going to extract depth from that image as best as it possibly can. But just for the sake of the video, I'm going to use the image here that I got from Adobe Stock. This is just, I think, like an Indian bas-relief texture. So once you do have your image, you just drag it into where it says drop image, and then you click generate. And this is going to use your GPU to process. Give it some time, but once it's done, it should pop up, and then you can click it, and then you can already see. I mean, the information that it already gives you is pretty insane, honestly. You could already use this and be fine. But what we're going to do is we're actually going to close out of here. And we're going to go down here to where it says boost. We're going to click that, and that's essentially just going to give you even more data or detail and information. So we'll click it again. This is going to take a lot longer, but trust me, it's worth it. So just let it do its thing. Maybe grab like a coffee or something, and then come back, and it should be done. Once it's finished, just click your image and then save it to wherever you want. And then we can go to Blender or whatever 3D software that you're using to use it as a displacement map. All right, now that we're in Blender, what we're going to do is we're going to make a plane and then just make it roughly the size of whatever image that you're bringing in. We'll go to the modifiers tab and then we'll type in subdiv, put it on simple. Let's bring this to 6. Bring that 6, whatever. Hit apply. And all right, we have some geo to work with, but we're going to bring in another subdiv. Bring this to maybe 4. And then hit apply. That should be plenty. Yeah, that's plenty to work with. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll bring in a displacement modifier. And then we go to new. And then click this button here. Click new. Actually, no, we don't need to do that. We just click open. So what we're going to do is we're just going to find our image. And there's our image. And already, I mean, automatically, it's pretty crazy, the results that you get. But what we can do here is, and also you can see like there's some weird parts here that are kind of getting extruded as well. That's okay though, because we can just shave that off, or we can edit it in Photoshop as well, so that that's not there. But once you have this in, let's just stretch it a little bit like that. And then just hit apply. Once you're done, go to the modifiers tab, hit apply. And there we go. We have our geo. I'm going to rotate this. Now what's really cool about this is now we can make a material. Let's just call this bas-relief. And then I'm actually going to drag in the original image that I used to give to the depth model in Stable Diffusion, and we can just plop that into the color. So if I go into the material shader here, automatically you can see it lines perfectly with the displacement that we gave it. And then what we can also use is we can use this to create a bump. Plug this into the normal, and then just turn it down a bit, but it just gives a bit more detail there. And then we can also create a roughness, color ramp, and then maybe just mess with this a bit. What you can also do is you can bring this into Photoshop, the original image of this, the diffuse, and you can just make your own roughness map, but I'm just going to use this just for the sake of time. And I think I'm going to get rid of a few of these, this geo here. And then just, yeah, I'm just going to cut this off here because we don't need this extra geo. Just delete that. There we go. And then I can do the same thing down here as well. There we go. So once you have that done, you pretty much have, you know, what you need. We could set up a quick scene real quick. So I could like duplicate this stuff here. Duplicate this again. I probably should be cloning this, but it's okay. There we go. And maybe I'll just clone these. Clone them, and then clone them. And then I might just clone one more row. Bring it up here. There we go. So what's really cool about this is that this essentially gives you some super realistic detail that you can put on your models or whatever you're making and using it for. But just for the sake of the video, I'm going to create a render with this. So what we can do is we can just grab our camera here and we can add in an empty. Let's add the empty there. So let's just put the focal point or the empty here so we can make that our focal point. Go to the camera settings, depth field, turn this on, select the empty, and then go to aperture and then just turn this to like 1.4 maybe. Oh, we need to go into cycles. There we go. And go to camera, and we just turn this down. There we go. All right, so we have some depth going on here with the camera. And then we need to add in a light source. So what we can do is we just go to world, add in a HDRI. And I'm going to add in one of my favorites for like a daylight type scene. And let's just try and rotate this to get some cool lighting, something like that maybe. And then what we can also do is we can add in a plane and make some clouds real quick using a noise texture. So we make a new material, just call this clouds. And we add in a noise texture. And we plug this into the alpha. And add another, we add a color ramp as well. Bring this down to like something like this maybe. And I'm gonna add a node wrangler to this. Change this to object, and then just mess with the scale a bit. Bring in some detail, maybe some roughness. And I'm also going to change this to black. Make this bigger, reset rotation and scale. All right, so we definitely need to adjust the, let's bring in a value node, plug that into the scale. So all we're doing right now is we're just adjusting the cloud coverage right now, just to create something cool. There we go, to create some shadows. All right, that's pretty sweet. And then if I go into camera view here and I just hit G with the cloud layer selected, I can just move this around and kind of, you know, set up some clouds or whatever. There we go. And that's pretty much it. I mean, I could bring this into Photoshop for some final paint over. So once we are happy with our image, we just render it out, and then I'll see you guys in Photoshop. All right, now that we're in Photoshop, we have the render that we rendered out from Blender. And what we can do is just do a super easy paint over with this to just make it pop some more. So I'm going to make a new layer. I'll just basically duplicate this guy, set it to multiply, and then click down here where it says layer mask, and then click that. And I'm going to hit Control A to select all. And then we want white as our foreground color in our palette over here. And then just hit backspace, and that's going to delete the layer. And then what we do is we can essentially just paint in where we want this to be a bit darker in the image. And before, actually what I'm also going to do is I'm going to click this this multiply layer, go to image up here, adjustments, vibrance, and we can turn up the saturation so wherever it's darker, we have some more color instead of it just being like a dark gray. So something like that maybe. And then I can also create another one of these and set it to screen, and then just do the exact same thing with the layer mask, and then just paint in where I want some highlights. So we'll just paint in some highlights here. So something like that. Flip the image. Looks pretty cool. So that's pretty much where I want our eye to be focused. And yeah, I'm just going to paint down here as well. Maybe brighten this up just a bit because I don't want it to be too dark down there. I want the eye to wander a little bit. I don't want it to just be focused there. Okay, maybe something like that. All right, now that that looks pretty cool, one other thing we could do is we could go into filter, go to camera raw filter, and then just use this to pop some of the details some more. So we go to clarity down here. You could bump that up a bit, maybe bump the texture up a smidge, maybe bring up some sharpening. And yeah, that's pretty good. So hit OK. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to, I had already done this, but when I made this new layer to bring into the camera raw filter, I duplicated it because I knew that I would be using this new version that we just sent out from the camera raw filter as a layer mask. So if I hide it, hit backspace, now it's gone. Now I can actually just paint it in again where I want that detail to show up, because I don't want it to be on the whole image. So again, it's a lot of layer masks and then just kind of rinse and repeat, just painting in the layer mask where we want that to show up. There we go. And then as like a final layer, we could just fill this white, go to noise, add noise, max it out all the way, set it to overlay, and then just turn it down to like maybe, zoom in here, maybe like 10%. Provides a little bit of grain. We don't want too much. Maybe we can drop this down to like 8. There we go. All right, cool. Well, that's it. Hopefully you guys learned something new. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to hit the like button, leave a comment below, and hit the subscribe button for more videos like this one. Thanks for watching.